Hi, everybody, and welcome. Today we have Dr. Sandra del Castillo. She's one of our presenters for the upcoming IFC conference this October 19th to the 21st. And we're going to talk a little bit today about her presentation. She's going to give us a sneak peek about it. Welcome, Dr. Sandra del Castillo. I'm going to read a little bit of her bio here. Dr. Del Castillo earned her doctorate degree in Jungian and archetypal death psychology at Pacifica Graduate Institute. She is a ritual artist, a teacher, and the creator of Blue Medicine Journal, a Jungian New Moon podcast. Sandra is a contributing lecturer at the Philosophical Research Society, where she offers the Jung myth and the archetypal imagination and course, and she teaches as adjunct at Pacifica Graduate Institute on Jung and Mesoamerica and works as a mentor where she integrates dreams, myth, and ritual art. Sandra also offers limpia ceremonies and a Mexican indigenous purification ritual that she learned while studying with traditional healers throughout Mexico, including Michoacan, her ancestral heritage. We're so honored to have you, Dr. Del Castillo, and we'll love to hear what you're presenting about on the upcoming conference.
Thank you so much, Gigi. I'm really happy to be here. So I and Dr. L as well. My presentation will be on Jung and the Mexican Day of the Dead, Reimagining Death and the Ancestors. Now, this draws from my experience living in Mexico, and in particular the region where this is renowned, one of the most renowned places in Mexico. That's my ancestral heritage. And one of the things that we ask ourselves is, what is it, in a culture that has systematically denied death for centuries, what is it that a kind of tradition like the Mexican Day of the Dead has not only crossed centuries, but crossed borders? That death all of a sudden arises in these smiling skulls, presenting itself in a satire, in a way that both honors and mocks death. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's crucial in a corporate fantasy, industrial growth society. That why do we honor death? Why are we looking towards the ancestors once again? Because you can see that it's a growing movement. It's not just within the Mexican Day of the Dead, but there is this ancestral call. What is it? Well, we're going to be looking into why in an ensouled worldview, which the ancestors never leave, but the ensouled worldview, which is prevalent in the Mesoamerican cosmovision, is something that we've lost over the centuries in, like I say, in what James Hillman called the corporate fantasy. And so this is a way of finding our way back to these roots, to the enchantment that we lost with the Enlightenment, which was an important part of our evolution, but we lost. We basically became orphans in a dead universe where the matter was, the earth was just dead matter. So we're reclaiming that soul spark that is in each and everything that emerges. So when we create an ofrenda, the altar, which is an offering to the ancestors, we offer a place for them to come. It's an invitation. The marigold flowers that we put are a way that the ancestors to smell. That's something that attracts them. The copal incense that's burned is something that cleanses the space, but it also invites the ancestors as well. Now, why do we want to invite the ancestors? In antiquity, in the archetypal wisdom, the ancestral wisdom, they understood that the ancestors, were relied upon for the for the community, not just personally, but for the community, for the crops, for the birth of the new babies, for the triumphs in wars, or these were critical, and just in terms of how a person lived the present, right?
Mm.
And so when we invite the ancestors, when we light the candle, we're tuning into something that's soul medicine, something that in modernity we're completely cut off from, something that is vital to the heart and soul. And it's something that when we're able to look at something that has for so long been in the shadows, death, right? We begin to open up to a larger reality, a larger, more cosmic story, that we are immersed in this ensouled worldview that holds us. And one of the things that I think we lose and we've lost touch with is that Jungian idea, that sense that death isn't this end of this blank, this existential nothingness, but rather the rite of passage into a new way of being. And Jung said we can't deny the brutality, the cruelty of death, but the other way of viewing it is the mysterium coniunctionis, which means the mysterious union, the sacred wedding, when we become whole. It's a path to wholeness. So it's a different thing. In this presentation, I'll be drawing particularly from the Mesoamerican traditions that recognized, let's say, the Aztec, the 9 underworlds, where these fantastic beasts that are confronted, are recognized as part of the rites, the soul's rite of passage, right? At which we are immersed. When Jung studied the Tibetan Book of the Dead, he recognized these creatures as part of the unfolding process, a numinous process that we're a part of, right? And so these are all, themes that I'll be addressing in this presentation. Is why in this time, why invite the ancestors again? Why light the candle? Why, buy the food and that pleased them? Why the flowers? And what that does, this is a form of ritual art that is healing, that's transformative. We draw from these ancient traditions in the Jungian. We draw from mythology. We draw from fairy tales. All the language of the soul. So what is it? It's an immersion in the soul realms, and that's what we're looking for once again, is to sort of reclaim the archetypal wisdom that was lost to us in modernity 500 years ago. That archetypal ancestral gold that was the real gold, lost, in my opinion, to the to modernity. And at this point in time, when we were when humanity faces its own existential rite of passage, drawing on, it is important to have a new way to imagine what is death. And as we sort of in between worlds, we expect that, well, we don't expect, but we have to imagine a new world into being. As the world as we know it comes to its end, we have to imagine a new world of being. And and ritual art is one way to bring it forward, to allow it to blossom. If we can't imagine it, it's not likely to happen, is it? Other people have agendas that are going on. The corporate fantasy doesn't let go of theirs. What's ours? What does that look like? And when we recognize that we're in this, what I like to call soul soup, that we can also be participants in it, not just sort of lost to the winds of fate, but help shape it into being, help imagine it into being, and welcome the ancestors. When we bring forth the ancestors, it's also a way of healing the past to heal the present and the future. So some things that I look at.
Yeah, this is so fascinating. Dr. Del Castillo, I really appreciate it. And it sounds like we're going to be talking about the language of the soul and how to immerse and reclaim that in the ritual of death. And I think this is going to be such an interesting topic. And I want to remind our audience that you're going to be presenting on Thursday, October 19th at 3:15 at the IFC's upcoming conference, IFC's and JAMP conference in Seattle, Washington. And I hope you all join us for this very special talk.